Welcome back to the Self-Led Journey podcast with Emma Louise. Before I get into today's episode, I hope you've enjoyed your week so far, and I appreciate you listening to my second episode. These past several months, I've been smashing my goals, breaking through my limiting beliefs, and meeting my own expectations. Heal first to keep moving forward. I want to share that I am now a certified life coach. Yay! I am so proud that I accomplished this goal, which felt so far away at one point in my life. I've been supporting women with their goals and challenging their limiting beliefs, and it feels incredible to be a part of their journey. Now getting back on track, in today's episode, we are going to be talking about forgiveness. Everybody processes forgiveness differently. Not everyone is meant to forgive in person, but internally, it's the main ingredient to move forward. If you're consistently holding on to past problems or resentment, you become angry, irritated, sad, or even depressed in your life. Yes, I completely understand that it's incredibly hard to forgive people who have hurt you or betrayed you, but no one says that you have to say it to them. Forgiving a person or a situation is never really about them anyway. It's about you. This allows you to grow. This allows you to move forward. This allows you to see the larger picture, such as a life lesson, and be grateful for it because now you can learn from it. Once you are able to accept and forgive someone or even your own wrongdoing, you are allowing yourself to be present in the moment and not stuck in the past. You can stop spiraling in your head about the past. When you're not in the past, you can be present, which gives you the ability to focus on what makes you happy and be in alignment with your true core values. Now, this brings me to the story of where it all began for me. It's like, where do I start? I was actually considering not writing anything for this podcast and letting the wind take me, but I wanted to make sure I captured all the important information, so here we are. It began in 2021. My ex-partner and I had a baby together, and we were very excited to start our life together as a family. We both had the dream of purchasing a home. We couldn't afford to buy a home with our incomes in the province we lived in. We tried to save money, and things just kept coming our way. We couldn't get ahead. We were struggling to find a rental home that didn't have any water issues. If you can believe it, all of the houses we rented together had water issues. Even the vehicle we leased together had water issues, and it was brand new. After having our first baby, we found out shortly after that we were expecting another baby. As soon as we found out, I panicked. I believe that my ex was secretly panicking too. All the pressure was on him now since I was not working at the time. An unexpected job offer came up, and it was not in the province we lived in. The job opportunity came at the right time. We had a 1-year-old and another baby coming in 2 months. We had to change our situation, and we thought this job opportunity would be the best for all of us at the time. In hindsight, we were scared that things weren't going to work out if we stayed in the current situation. The cost of living was much lower, and the job opportunities for my ex-partner were endless and very high paying. This move meant that I would not see my eldest daughter as often, and she would have to fly to see us. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but in the end, I felt like it could get us ahead in the housing market. We could come back and purchase close to where she lives. This would then solve our housing issue and not deal with all the shitty rentals. It was scary, but in my head, I had to keep pushing forward. My eldest daughter was safe with her dad, and she was surrounded by her friends and family. We all needed more balance in our lives, and so we moved. About 6 months later, I went back to work. I was off work for nearly 18 months, and I felt like I was going crazy. I was at home all day, every day, with the kids on my own. My ex-partner was doing shift work at the time, so he was away for a lot of period of time. I had 0 time for myself and no adult time either. It was insane. I was working full time, raising the kids for half the month on my own. We were on a mission, though, to purchase a home. After our 18 months, After about 18 months, we decided we were ready to purchase the home. We paid off the debt and saved up our down payment in 4 months. We literally worked our asses off to get there, with zero time wasted. Our realtor couldn't believe what we accomplished in such a short amount of time. Like, it was insane. Just like Hal Elrod says in his book, The Miracle Equation, with unwavering faith and extraordinary efforts, you will get there. We were in the final days prior to signing the documents for the home, and one of our conditions was the seller must accommodate the buyer to see the home once it had been emptied, but prior to possession, which they had agreed to us with no issues. Yes, we got a home inspection, and yes, we saw the house a few times prior to possession. The home was in great condition when we came to view it each time. The week before, our realtor contacted the seller's realtor and agreed to a date. Then later came back and said, no, sorry, we can't accommodate any of those days, only the days in which their belongings would have still been there. They said they were too stressed out to have people come there at the time and wouldn't have the cleaning completed in time. At this point, you must be all thinking, well, I would have not followed through with the sale on this home if they weren't complying to the obligations that they agreed to. And yes, now looking back, I would have thought the same. But when you're in these rush moments 1 week prior to possession and you have already told your current landlord you'll be leaving, there is way more pressure. And after a couple of days of our realtor going back and forth with the seller's realtor, we decided to go to the home in the morning prior to sending the money and talk to the people who were selling the home. On the drive there, I just knew something was off. I felt sick. Now looking back, it was my body saying, stay the fuck away, it's no good. But I ignored it, thinking it was anxiety from purchasing our first home. When we had arrived, she was most definitely surprised to see us and looked defensive. We talked to her on the porch, and she confirmed and reassured us she would never leave the home in a bad state, and that she was scared we were going to squat in her home and not send the money. I'm thinking, do people even do that? At the time, we felt rushed, reassured by her words, but didn't know how to react because she was so certain there was nothing wrong with this home. We left the home and went on our way back to our current home to finish packing. A few days later, we moved in, and we were enjoying our new space, meeting our neighbors, and enjoying the last bits of summer 2024. Then, bam! When we started cleaning the home, the day after we moved in, we found dog urine everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Under the baseboards where their stuff was placed. They left their front doormat behind where you enter the home, and it was saturated with dog urine. There was kitty litter in the closet still. It was really disgusting. We had our dogs too, and we didn't want them to start urinating in the home since they could probably smell the dog urine from a mile away. It was devastating. My ex-partner was still doing shift work, and I was still working full-time. It was a lot to handle with 2 toddlers and 2 dogs. Once we cleaned as much as we could, we knew we would have to replace the baseboards in the home at the entryways since they were all swollen with dog urine. Now you're probably thinking, couldn't you smell the dog urine? And the answer is no. It was a summer day with all the windows open and a large fan going for their dogs. The home inspectors told us they found something had spilled inside the floor vents and said it was coffee. It was not coffee, let me tell you. Over the following weeks, I kept discovering more and more dog urine. It was unbelievable that someone could live like this and sell their home to anyone in this state and say it's move-in ready. And to add to this fiasco, my dogs got fleas from the house, and the fleas were biting me. It was horrible. We felt unbelievably defeated, and I felt emotionally exhausted. Shortly after that, we decided it would be best to replace all the carpets upstairs for sanitary purposes. We ordered carpets and decided to do the removal ourselves, just in case the installers found anything, and sure enough, we found way more than expected. More dog pee, of course, literally everywhere, and black mold that had gone through the upstairs master bathroom into the upstairs bonus room. I was mortified and emotionally falling apart. Since I've been working in construction for the last 12 years, I know how much remediation costs, and it's outrageously expensive. The master bathroom tiled and jacuzzi tub was not maintained properly. So when the water spilled over the edges, the water kept sitting and dripping, which caused the entire casing and flooring of the jacuzzi tub to be covered with black mold, which then traveled through the wall. This meant we couldn't install the carpets without getting the remediation done. We had to remove all the carpets in the upstairs part of the house and live with the subfloor only for like 7 months. Since the black mold had been traveling, there was blooms everywhere. I had a friend from the industry, and they told me they could remove the subfloor for me at no cost. I was super grateful that he would help me out. But while that was happening, one of the guys slipped on the joist and almost fell through the ceiling. He was carrying a drill, and that went through the ceiling with the 2x6 plank he was standing on. This created an 8-foot by 4-foot hole in my ceiling, like right above my kitchen. So now we had a skylight going from the main floor to the second floor. We managed to fix the hole, and I decided to replace the subfloors myself. It was a scary moment, and I'm really glad that the guy was okay. At this point in this home journey, everything felt comical because issues kept arising as we were fixing them. It's like, what else could possibly go wrong? A few weeks later, we contacted a lawyer who I am forever grateful for. We had to make a decision to go after the previous homeowners for all the latent defects. I had so much evidence that showed that they were aware of the situation and how they tried to hide the bathtub issue. So we decided to pursue the class action lawsuit against the previous homeowners. Just before Christmas, I found out I was pregnant. And we were so excited because we thought we could finish the remaining bits of the house in those short few months. I was not working during this time due to the renos, so I finished depopcorning the bedroom, the bathroom ceilings, painted the walls, laid vinyl plank flooring in the kids' bedroom so that they could finally have the bedroom they deserved. We also managed to have remediation team come in and do the bathroom so there was no more exposed black mold. Let me tell you, it was very costly. Little to our knowledge, we discovered dog urine inside of all the floor vents in the home, which then traveled down to the furnace. The home inspectors mentioned condensation in the furnace, and that's a hard no. It was dog urine. I went into the unfinished basement to find the dog urine that had traveled down the sides of the walls onto the vapor barrier. It was in the corners of all the walls, and even dripping from the ductwork in the basement onto the floor. There was so much dog urine collected that it corroded the ductwork. We didn't even know about this until we had to turn on the furnace for the winter. Since dog urine is considered a biohazard, we would not be able to sell the home for the value we paid, and fixing it was completely out of our budget. We would have to remediate the entire home and then remove and replace all the ductwork in the home, including the furnace. As time went on, we kept discovering more and more issues. Water coming through the roof, problems everywhere. It felt endless. At this point in time, I'm pregnant, the home is a write-off, and there's no point in moving forward with anything. Our relationship was falling apart, our home was falling apart, and I was extremely stressed out. On March 4th, I had an abortion. It was the most painful thing of all the things that I've ever done. But I just knew it was not healthy or wise to bring another life into our lives at this time. For both selfish and selfless reasons, I felt that was right. We knew at this point we couldn't live here and had to pivot. We had to move forward for our own sanity and for our kids, who were enduring this as well. We reached out to our lawyer, and he had put us in contact with someone that could help us out with our housing financial situation. She was wonderful, and another person I will forever be grateful for. We had to foreclose on the home and let go. It was so hard letting go of all the hard work that I'd put into that home to make it the best for all of us. Sleepless nights where I stayed up all night laying down subfloor while the kids were sleeping and laying vinyl plank. Even though the house was a piece of shit, it was still my piece of shit, and I loved it. Let's not forget we had the lawsuit happening at the same time, which we also had to let go of since we had to do a consumer proposal for the foreclosure on the home. This is where the self-sabotage began. I felt completely lost, but started noticing some very similar patterns to when I was a child, except I was an adult now. When I was a child, we had lost our family home to foreclosure. My dad worked away, and so did my ex. I started noticing some similar patterns. I'm thinking, am I reliving my mom's life? Like, what is going on here? At this point, something drew me to reach out to a psychic, and she told me things about my life that no one else knew, from when I was a child and things about my parents. She became my guide from then forward, and I am still friends with her now. I will be always grateful for her as well. She was my guiding light out of this mess. I started meditating every day, even though I had no idea how to meditate or even if I was doing it properly. I started reading and forgiving. I was so angry at the people who sold us that house. I wanted revenge because we had sacrificed so much to get there, and in return, we were left with nothing. It felt like we lost everything. So I began to start letting go of the anger with anyone and anything that I felt sadness or hurt by. I began to relive to relieve. A message from the book, The Power of Letting Go by John Perkins. I forgave the sellers. I forgave my dad. I forgave my ex. I forgave everyone and anything that had happened to me. I forgave myself most of all. Forgiveness gave me the power to step into my light. Forgiveness gave me the power to be present. Forgiveness gave me the light to see greatness coming my way because I wasn't being held back by anger or sadness. It showed me a new way of living because nothing else mattered anymore. Forgiveness is not something that happens to someone overnight, but it all starts within yourself. Once you can forgive yourself, you begin to value yourself, and then you can get that abundance you want in your life. You get that abundance in your life by believing in yourself and what you want to make happen in your life. I found my life purpose on this journey, and it was to stop putting the needs of others before my own, to support people in their healing journey, and to guide people to their highest potential. Listen loud and clear. This is for the empath. Stop self-sacrificing yourself to make others happy. You cannot fill other people's buckets if you don't have any left in yours. Make some time in your life to forgive yourself. Make yourself a priority, and then you will become unstoppable. When you hold on to resentment, the only person that would be suffering is you. The people who sold us that house don't care if I'm upset with them. They could care less, clearly. The only person that is using energy to be resentful is you. And that energy could be used on something more important and valuable in your life. Once I stopped putting myself last and I started noticing major changes. I moved to a beautiful city where it's mostly sunny. I received 3 job offers in 1 week. I found myself, which then led to attracting beautiful friends around me that love and support me. I started meeting like-minded individuals because I was attracting that kind of energy. The list goes on and on. The whole point is when you start focusing on yourself, you will start to notice patterns that arise, and then you become aware, and you can pivot and make changes in your life. Awareness is key. I will continue my story about my journey in the following episodes, so you can see when you are aware and in the present moment, and when you start to internally heal yourself, all the external desires fall into place. I want you to ask yourself this question. Do the same patterns keep occurring in your life and you can't explain why? Do you wonder what it would feel like to live in the present moment instead of living in the future or the past? Are you ready to forgive yourself and the people around you? What can you do differently today for yourself so that you can move forward? What is one thing that you are truly grateful for about yourself? All of these answers come from within and start with forgiveness. This allows you to be in the present moment. What does forgiveness look like to you? I truly believe everything happens for a reason. I am forever grateful for the people in my life who have helped me through those hard times when I was lost. My mom, all of my neighbors, but especially my next door neighbor, my lawyer, my trustee, all my friends I met through work. You have a special place in my heart, and I appreciate you. From today's episode, I want you to reflect on this. Forgiveness is the entryway to success. Gratefulness is your guide on your journey. Putting yourself first is safe, and you cannot fill someone else's bucket if yours is running on empty. Buying a home or any materialistic item is not going to bring real value into your life, but being in the present moment in your life right now will. Life stops when you let it stop, and life keeps going when you put the effort in. Excuses are limiting beliefs replayed in your mind to help you keep you safe. But in reality, they are stopping you from your true potential. Be the change in your life and let go of what is no longer serving you. You're the only person that has the power to make that happen. If you're listening and you're looking for support on your life journey or wanting to add a little bit more sparkle into your life, please let me know. Please know that you don't have to do this alone. You're always welcome to reach out to me. My email is in the description box. I offer complimentary coaching sessions, and if you'd like more information, please feel free to email me. The energy that you give out to people is the same energy you will attract. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The energy that you give out to people is the same energy you will attract. Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my crazy adventure and life-changing experience. Please feel free to follow me on my social media as well, where I share daily tips and tricks for healing your inner self. I will put the links in the description box for the books I mentioned in the podcast as well. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode of the Self-Led Journey podcast. Thank you.